Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine you are building a Django application in that a new user signs up, and along with creating the user, you also need to create a profile, send a welcome email, generate default settings, create a audit log, and maybe even notify the admin. So you write all of this inside your registration view. Everything works perfectly until one day an admin creates a user from the Django admin panel. Or maybe a user is created through a REST API or even a management command. Suddenly, no profile is created, no welcome email is sent, no audit log is generated. Now you are stuck copying the same code into multiple places and your application becomes harder to maintain. So how do professional Django applications solve this problem? The answer is Django Signals. In this video, we are not gonna just learn how to write signal, we are gonna understand why they exist, how they work internally, and why you should and shouldn't use them. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to confidently use built-in signals like post save, pre-save, post delete, etc. in your own Django projects. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right in and first understand what Django signals actually are. So have you ever written code like this? Like user creates, profile is created, send welcome email function, and create notification function and create activity log. So when a user is created, all this should be running. So looks fine, right? But what happens when a user is created from somewhere else? Maybe from Django admin, maybe from a management command, maybe from an API. Suddenly, no profile is created, no email sent, no notification is created. Now you start copying the same code everywhere. Exactly the problem Django Signal solves. So now whenever a user is created, I want all this function to be run. Create profile, send email, create notification, create log. The problem. So let's imagine we are building a social media application and every time a user signs up, we want to do 5 different things. That is the same things I'm telling. Create profile, send email, generate default settings, create a notification and create a audit log. So most of the time we will write all this inside the registration view. So it will look like this. In the registration view, we'll write all these things, user, profile, sent, all these things we will write in that. This works perfectly until someone creates a user from another place. Let's say from admin panel, they will create a user. So now there is no profile created, there is no email sent, there is no default settings created, no notification. The same may happen while using the REST API also. Here nothing happens again. Why? Because all our logics only exist within our one view. Here the real problem is duplicate business logics. So whenever you create a user, you must always also remember to write profile.object.create. This profile.object.create we have to write every time. Now you will be writing this again. Let's say for admin panel you have to write, for management command you have to write, and for API again you have to write. So eventually your project will keep on looking like this. So first you will write in the registration view and you will create that in the API create profile in admin, create profile in management command, and then create profile. That's not only repetitive, that's also easy to forget. Let's say you made some changes to this create profile or some other functions related to that, but you forgot to change that in any one of them. So your code will almost break. So now what exactly is a signal in Django? Let's forget programming for a minute. Imagine you are at a home. Someone presses your doorbell. What happens? The bell rings. Does the bell know what's going on? Does the bell know who is going to answer? No. Maybe your father comes to open the door, or your mother checks the camera. Maybe your dog starts barking. Maybe nobody answers. The bell doesn't care. Its only job is to announce someone is at the door. That is what exactly the Django signal is. It doesn't perform action itself. It simply announces something just happened. Then every function that is listening to it can react. How it works with Django means, so whenever a user is saved, a signal is triggered, it just informs. And then the functions which we have created for creating the profile, sending email, creating notification, and create audit log is triggered. Now if you notice something interesting, here the user module doesn't know about emails at all. It doesn't know about notification, it doesn't know about logs. It will just simply says, hey, I was saved, anyone interested can React. Every application has events. For example, if you know about JavaScript, there is an event called button.addListener click function. So when someone clicks a button, this button doesn't know what your function does. It just simply announces someone clicked me. Django works exactly the same way. Whenever something important happens, Django fires an event called a signal. For example, when a model is saved, it will trigger event called post save, and before saving it will trigger event called pre-save, and when an object is deleted it will trigger a function called trigger a event called post delete. These are simple notifications. Now these are the some of the few signals present in the Django. So that is, one is pre-save, before saving it runs; post save, that is after saving; pre-delete, before deleting; post delete, after deleting; and m2m changed, many to many relationship changes. Don't worry if this name seems confusing right now. By the end of this session, by the end of this tutorial, you will know exactly how each one works. So again, I'm telling, signal is not a function, it just sends a notification. It's just a reminder, that's it. You may think whenever a signal is called, it will call some functions. No, it doesn't do that one. Instead, it just tells something happened and Django announces it, and anyone listening it to it reacts. Now that we understand the concept behind Django signal, we know they are not some kind of magic. They are simply Django's way of saying, hey, something important just happened. We also saw the problem they solve and why writing the same logic in multiple places isn't a good approach as your project grows. But understanding the theory is only the first step. In the next session, we are going to create a Django project from scratch and implement our very first post-save signal. We will see exactly how Django detects that a model has been changed, how a receiver listens for the event, and how we can automatically perform actions like creating a user profile without writing duplicate code.